man. Yo, thank you so much for this is a we're trying to get you on.
Oh man, it's been a conflict in schedules the last couple of days, but we got it, man. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, man. Merry Christmas and all that. And
Yeah, hell yeah. Merry Christmas.
yo, uh, let's just start off. Just Johnny Nomad podcast. I have someone from the Midwest, Kansas City, Missouri, right?
Yes,
Um,
sir.
uh, hip hop artist. I want to say lyricist. You correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh
Um,
no, I agree. I agree.
Sheven is on the Giant Nomad podcast. So thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for
Uh,
having me, man. I appreciate
now,
your time.
no, absolutely. I thank you, man. Thank you for your time. Like my biggest thing right now for me is your name. Your name is unique. I never heard of Sheven, and this
So
is
it's
your real name, right?
yeah, it's my mother and father's name put together. It's Stephen and Shannon put together.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so she took the SH and then put it with the EVEN, and then there you have it. I hated it as when I was growing up. I hated it, but it taught me to be outspoken. Teaches you to speak up for yourself because someone's always messing up your name, and so it to me it helped me be who I am.
Absolutely. Damn, that's a fantastic story though. That is
Yeah,
awesome. Like big ups to Mom Dukes. Like she's
she was a
she was
thinker, right? They were smoking that shit.
that is fucking amazing. But that's badass because it really does since it is unique. You
Right,
have something so unique, you might as well use it, right?
right. Like Obi Trice said, he said, "Real name, no gimmick." You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta like I don't want to give myself a nickname. I've never been the kind of guy to be like, yeah, I'm so and so. So like when I was like, I'm gonna make music, it's like, what am I gonna be? It's like,
Right,
well, fuck, I don't want to be anybody but myself. So
right.
like, yeah,
No, yeah, that's absolutely right. 'Cause back in the day when I was growing up in Brooklyn, like we had what we called back then was called tag names. You have your tag name, your graffitiing on the wall. It was kind of like your MO, whatever, right? And uh, Giant Nomad for me was something that because my real name is totally way out there. It's totally regular spick fucking name, right? 'Cause I'm Puerto Rican, so I got the real hick name. Um, but Giant Nomad for me myself was Nomad because I was always a loner,
right.
and I like Johnny Depp on 21 Jump Street, so I just took his fucking name. So it wasn't that creative.
Hell yeah. That's awesome though.
But I
21 Jump
really
Street's
want,
a classic.
yeah, I really want to get into like what made you get into hip hop?
Man, it's a lot of things. I've always been into like writing. I've always wanted like one day I plan to like write films and direct. That's where I'd like to end up.
Fuck yeah,
And
yeah.
so like writing to me has always been like storytelling and anything like that. But I've always been able to rap. And like growing up, when I was 16, I could freestyle really good and shit. So like people were like, man, you should try to make a song and stuff. And I had my best friend die and I made a song. It was like a rest in peace song about it. And it kind of like went big. It was, you know what I'm saying? Among my friends, they thought it was cool. And so I never made anything after that. And then like I'd say like 3 years ago. I'm 27 now, so I think I was 24, and I was like, man, I want to make music. I can play piano, I can play a little guitar.
Okay.
Uh, I like writing. And so I started like I bought Ableton, I bought an Akai mini board, I bought a bunch of soundproofing stuff, uh, like the Audio Technica
Yeah.
microphone, and just jumped into it. And I produced a couple tracks and I learned how to do that. And I was lucky to know a couple people that have been like in depth in the hip hop scene around here, like Approach, who's kind of like a legend in Lawrence, Kansas's hip hop scene.
Right.
He kind of put me under his wing and shit, and like helped me master my first project and expungement, and like that was my first kind of attempt at this, and it just flowed, it just worked, and something about it was so natural. And I fucked up real bad. 18, I got a couple sales cases. I got set up with the agent wearing a wire and shit, and I was looking at like some serious time, and like I got probation. I did like a year in jail, and it's just like a lot of fucked up shit happened. They took my car, everything was falling apart, lost my job, and like I've always been like the constant turnaround. So like expungement was kind of made like I expunged my history. Like when I made that record, I kind of expunged my past. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like it was done through me. Like that was me putting it down like on wax, on CD. Just kind of like that's my story. Like hopefully that can help somebody. You know what I'm saying? Not do the same shit I did.
No,
And so,
absolutely. That's fucking awesome. Wow.
that's kind of where it started. And then like coexisting was kind of like I'm trying to like I didn't get it expunged. My record expunged when I made expungement. It was kind of like more like a mental expungement. I actually got it expunged a couple months ago, so I'm finally got like my
Well,
felonies off my record and
congrats to
stuff.
that. That's
Appreciate that.
huge. But no,
It's it's tough.
I listened to both albums, man, and I've been playing it for the past couple of weeks already, and I've been working out to it, doing everything, and I can see the growth from one album to the next.
Yeah.
Um,
Most that.
it's fantastic. I love Go. Like I posted that on my IG with a little snippet. Like it's just super kind of vibrant, but then the lyrics are behind it. Um, so I definitely see where you're trying to come from, and hip hop is so vast now. Hip hop is worldwide.
Right.
Um, and they're always saying, at least the new kids now have that vulture culture bullshit going on, which I disagree with. Right?
Yeah.
Where, especially since you're white, right? So being a white rapper, which is not foreign anymore, because me growing up, we had the Beastie Boys. So when people talk about white rapper, like, well, they were always in the game. You know what I'm saying? So if you know your history of hip hop, you know,
They've been around.
white people, yeah, it's been around. Like I said, Beastie Boys is one of the biggest white hip hop groups ever, right?
Right. Right. Right.
So so where do you feel how you fit, especially being like in the Midwest, especially being in Kansas City, right? So you got to rep that. That's some little pressure there. How do you feel about that? How's that dynamic? And you kind of sound like an East Coast rapper at the same time too, though. You
I
know?
get I get that a lot, and I got Craig G on my first album, from the Juice Crew. So it's like I won a iHeart local contest and had him, and he wanted to do a feature with me and stuff. So taking that, like being the white guy, I'm always the outcast in a lot of like live shows, situations, studio. Really, really, anytime I feel like a lot of times I'm the only white guy in some spots, and I just know how to blend, I'd say. But
Right.
when you have a story to tell, like I'm not out there faking the funk. You know what I'm saying? I'm not out there trying to be something I'm not. And I think that's where people don't feel like they're fitting in. Like you can't tell somebody, you can't deny somebody when they're just being genuine. And so like I feel like I got a genuine story to tell and something to offer. And from that, I've never really got a lot of funk for being white. I've never got that. Like it's always the prejudgment. I feel like before I get on stage, uh, I love performing. That's one of my favorite aspects to the music side. It's like
Right.
being able to bring the live show exactly how you do at the studio. And yeah, it's nice to see their faces change when they see that you're serious about it and what you have to offer. And I
I
think
think
that's
it's something you need to capitalize on. Like that
right,
surprise element is fucking huge. It's like it's the unexpected. Like you need to really capitalize on that shit and fucking make it happen. Like and what you do, you have the lyrics to back it up. You have the sound to back it up.
right.
Like and your sound is very unique. Like was it purposeful? Like with the beats that you're choosing? Like do you are you like because you kind of upbeat ish? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're not super like dreadful and like heavy like 808 pounding drums, but then you're not super like you're not singing like Drake does. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
you're in this kind of zone as like I feel like there's some jazz in there.
Love a jazz influence. And that's kind of the East Coast vibe I think I give off a lot. It's like anything with jazz. Anytime I get an instrumental sent to me with some jazz in it, like a trumpet, saxophone, something, it gets me. It jumps out to me. I'm a hi-hat rapper. I love rapping off like the beats that people don't usually rap off of. Like I'm rapping off a different drum than everybody else. And that's yeah, like my brother-in-law actually produced like 3 or 4 of the tracks off my first album and my second album. So like he's got a real good taste of it, but he makes a lot of like the more like deeper stuff that I make, like Pain, like Coexisting. That's
Right.
all like my brother-in-law. He's been in the army and shit. He went over, did a couple tours. So he's been through some shit and he puts a lot of pain in the beat. So that always brings it out in me to jump and like capitalize on what I always capitalize on the emotion I feel off the beat. The beat to me writes a song.
Right, absolutely. Damn. No, that's interesting as fuck, man. Like that's just fantastic. And like I said, for now going into 2019, what's your goal? What's your expectations for your career going forward now? Like what's like your
Uh,
because the reason why I'm talking to you now at this stage is because I find a lot of people. I want people at the beginning of their stage, because
right,
once you get to you have your first, second, third album, you're up there already. Things change dramatically. Like you're in the middle of your journey right now, or the
right.
beginning of your journey. So you already spoke about how you bought some equipment. You started rapping, put out two albums already. It's hot. What can we expect in 2019?
So I'm sitting on a lot of material, uh, secrets, features, footage, and a lot of opportunities like right and reach. I just like I gotta grasp it if that makes sense. I can't talk about too much about who I got featured on
Of
with this
course.
project coming out. Um, I will let you know that the next project's called Restitution.
Okay.
So it's kind of like it's like my payback, if that makes sense. Like restitution's a form like when you get in trouble and they sentence you to whatever, you got to pay restitution costs. So this is
Absolutely.
kind of like I've expunged my past. To me, I've coexisted with everybody, trying to still better myself, and like I still go through some deep shit. So like restitution to me is like payback to everybody who wasn't fucking with me in a
No,
sense, but a
that's
very
hot.
like it's a why it's not like direct, if that makes sense. I try to write it so like adaptable that like you could you know what I'm saying, if you had a fucked up day at work you could still relate to this shit. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I try not to pinpoint stuff too much because then it gets too like personal and then like it's not exactly like as acceptable. And that's kind of what I learned with like project to project. I just try to like see how people accept things and see how they take it. And art's always like how you want to portray it, but to make it easier and you know what I'm saying, that's what I feel like makes a song like a hit, is when you can really like it hits something in your heart or in your feels and you're like that's that shit. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely, because you're right. Artistry. Because you have your rappers and you have hip hop artists.
Right.
And there's a lot of people who can rap, but they can't make a song.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or people who do battles. Battle rapping. They can be great and they can tear you apart, but they can't write a song for the fucking life of them. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, I think you're in a unique position again, like I said before, because you can make a song. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? You can put some value behind the song. It's just not a bunch of words you just kind of smashing together. You're not doing that kind of mumble rapping shit. And I think, hip hop is changing overall, very much so how rock and roll did,
Right.
where you had different subcategories in rock and roll. You had
But
grunge and punk, and that's where
I think
hip hop is
certain ones
going now.
last a little longer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like hip hop's in a
absolutely.
in a short phase. I feel like with this mumble and this, I think the alternative, the kind of emo rap is here to stay. I think that's a genre that's kind of
Correct.
that's a hot genre. That's two genres that have mixed real well, and that's kind of to me that's good for like the kids, man. Because think about that's two different groups of people now that are vibing to the same shit. And I think anytime that you can blend two different groups of people together at a young age, then you're doing something for the youth.
Absolutely. But I think the older generation has to give up the fact that their hip hop is not the hip hop today, and that's
Right,
fine
right.
because everything has to evolve.
Yeah, because if every like 21 Savage said in an interview a couple days ago, like if everybody made the same sound or like made a definition of hip hop, like that's what it, then everything would sound the same. And that's why you got people that branch off and do that. And I love seeing it. It doesn't mean you have to listen to it. You know
No,
what I'm saying? Or respect it or like it. But it's let them be. Like don't hate on the man for doing like you don't have to
no,
pay
absolutely, because
attention.
you're gonna find your audience regardless of the fact. So whether
Right,
I like you or not, you're gonna have people who do like you,
right.
and
Yeah, I mean,
you're gonna cater to that audience, which makes sense. There's no difference from people who have YouTube channels, and they have their audience, and people are trying to figure out how to make money off that audience because it's very unique and very kind of niched. You know what I'm saying? So
it's like going to the store, man. There's go down each aisle and everybody's selling the same things and there's seven different brands. You know what I'm saying? And there's an audience for each one. Somebody likes that brand.
absolutely,
It's just it's preference. You just got to make yourself available and put yourself out there just like the next man. And I think that's how you capitalize off. The next part is just capitalizing off of opportunities. And I
absolutely.
feel like I've
I
been
want to
networking
I
in this
want to
scene.
actually right now too, as far as how you have a day job, you
Hmm.
make you're making things happen. And for the people who's out there who's trying to figure it out, like, have you figured it out? Are you somewhat so far deep into the hip hop part, but you still got to hold on to your gig, or are you about to let that go pretty soon? Like, what does that look like?
It's close. You know what I'm saying? And the deeper you focus on what you don't have, and I feel like it leads you down that artist to depression because it's such a sensitive craft. You know what I'm saying? Being an artist is you're so
Right.
subject to depression and and acceptance and everything. And the more I focus on like my day job pays me well, so I can't complain at that part. But do I love it? Like no, I hate every second of it, and it uses the most valuable part of my day most
Right.
of the time. And I'm close. I'm real close. And depending on how this album works out, with a couple of the artists I got on there, I mean everything could be different this time next year. A lot different.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. I think that's what people have to capitalize on and understand, figure it out. Because no doubt we do need a day job. I know I have a day job as well right now. So I'm trying to make this podcast thing work out. You're trying to make the hip hop thing work out, and it does take time.
Right.
Do you find yourself trying to rush?
No, I was the first album. I was the second album, but now I've hit this spot where I just want to be portrayed exactly how I want to be. I don't want it to come out any way different than it's in my head. And I feel like anytime somebody rushes that or affects that, then I immediately eliminate them from my life. And that's just kind of where I'm at right now. Like I'm dedicated to this with like my whole heart, and like this is it. And like with this next one, like I don't want to miss, if that makes sense. And I feel like
Absolutely.
that, like the ones I got right now, I've hit, and I got legends and like people that are in this shit selling a million copies. You know what I'm saying? A year and going platinum and shit, like telling me like this shit's the truth. And so like you know what I'm saying? And that's like I'm just what like I get like being able like somebody with that kind of validity, like on that level, telling me that shit. It kind of makes you wash out everything else. You know what I'm saying? And it just makes you focus on like the goal at hand. So then it's just about execution and just like taking care of your personal, well-being and staying emotionally healthy and physically healthy. So then you can give your best to you. Because that's what I'm working on now. It's hard to be consistent.
So how does the business affect your artistry right now? Because you're learning about the business part of it of the music industry because it'd be real shady and fucked up, right? A lot of people know about that, and
Yeah.
you still want to keep that artist mentality. As you learn about this business of the music industry, are you kind of disappointed, or are you looking like, damn, I gotta kind of move in a different space right now?
You just got to be adapt. You got to adapt to like. There's no business structure everything has a business structure in any industry. I feel like except for music because it's constantly changing. And what worked last year doesn't work the same this year. And I love the aspect of business. Like I went to college for like a couple semesters and have a couple credits towards, my business degree. And that's what like I love like I'm in the stock market, I'm in the cryptocurrency. I love like trading and just trying to make money. Like I love the idea of that. So any part of business and shit that I love that. But what it does is it slows down the artist side of that. Like if I wasn't doing the booking I was for the concerts and the networking I had to do to get like the features that I got locked down for this next album and like the engineers and the studio time booked and everything, then I would be like 50 songs deep this year. But instead of like 15, and that's just the grind.
It
It's
is.
it's a
It is
marathon.
because I find myself doing the same thing as I hit you up on IG. I'm booking my own guests. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right, right,
it takes time. You're trying to find the right hashtags to blow up, right? To try to get
right.
yourself out there to how to promote yourself and things like that. And it, it it's weird because it does take time away, but then it's also putting value back into what you're trying to do, right?
Right. You just got to tell, yeah, exactly. You have to tell yourself it's all for the greater good.
Right.
And it's like sometimes I wake up and I want to write, and I've been producing a lot. On this next project, I made like 4 or 5 of the beats, and but what it does, like I'm like, man, why am I making these beats? I should be writing. I'm so valuable in writing. I feel like, but then these people hear these beats and like, man, this shit's fucking crazy. And it's like, well, I just gotta like sometimes I have a creative aspect to make a beat. Like this morning, I started making a beat shit. And like the other morning, I was like, well, shit, I woke up, I wanted to write. And some mornings I don't feel like doing either, and I feel like that's when I need to do the business side of things. And it's just like compartmentalizing and making the most of your time, especially when you have to sacrifice so much of the day job. And that's the struggle. And it's a grind, and it weeds out like who really wants it and who's just trying to be, that overnight shit. Because it's like anything that looks overnight, it's not. It's just carefully thought out, planned to look like that.
Absolutely. I think you're absolutely right because my time I have it all scheduled out. Like I'm a type of person I gotta have shit scheduled. Um, and that's just what I operate. Some people don't. They could go by memory, and that's fantastic. However they fucking work, right?
Right.
But the biggest shit is for me is I'm giving up 8 hours of my day for somebody else,
Right.
right? But my
To live
my
their dream.
right, my body's there, but my mind is like, yo, I gotta hit this person up. I gotta do this. Like I'm there, but I'm not there, right? My wife tells me that all the time. I'm like, I'm home, but I'm not home, right?
Right. Right.
So it is difficult. It is challenging because you feel like you're shorting yourself at that point. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, I could be seriously doing this right now. Or sometimes you may have your most creative moment at work. Do you feel
I
like that
hate that
happens to you?
all the time. All the time. I got Word documents and memo pads all over my computer when I started up, and it's just like 4 bars here, 4 bars. If somebody came in and looked at my computer, they think I was fucking crazy. They're like, Sheven's lost his mind. He's got little notes written all over the place. That's just how it is, though. I wrote some of the best songs I got, I feel like, at work.
So that means you may have to keep your day job as you continue to get more and more famous. So
They might come at me. They might come at me for royalties or something if they hear this.
yeah, they might
Oh yeah, you wrote what song? On whose clock?
exactly. Like I think that's the biggest shit, right? That so many people are doing a 9 to 5. There's nothing wrong with that having a career. That's what you want. Go after it. But the people who do have that kind of something in them, you can't let fucking the job get in the way. You can't
Right.
even let family get in the way. Like I have a family, I have
Yeah.
a wife, I have a job, have kids. I still gotta find time to carve out to do a podcast or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So how do you said the business side of it that music is kind of tough because it was changing. What is your structure look like? You know what I'm saying? For like going into 2019, like what's your plan of attack for 2019?
Ah, man, I wish I had it better structured. I know I got my head in the right spot, and I got a lot of work done, and I have the connections to make it happen. Right now, it's just about doing it. It's about
About the
now, like
execution.
holding myself accountable on the hours I set aside, and doing what I said, and then just like not letting nobody block your light out. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
what you said with everything you got going on, like just keep your light as bright as you can because everything's trying to dull. Not everything's trying to dull your light out, but a lot of things like your day job and like everything that's just something always trying to dull the light, bro. And as long as you can keep your light bright and keep your head right, and then everything to me just works out. And like there's months I go where I'm like super productive and I knock out a bunch of shit in 2 months, and I'll go 5 months not getting what I did in 2 months done.
Yeah. It happens that
And
way.
it's
Yeah.
yeah,
It
it's
happens
like
that way.
it's just a wave. It's just a wave of emotion and shit. And
No, you're right. And my thing would have I've done recently, the past couple of weeks, is now I'm writing down every day like a diary. What am I doing for me towards what I'm trying to get done? Right. So
right,
if I did shit for that day, I wrote down, yo, you fucked up, you did nothing. So then the next week I'll take inventory of the week prior and be like, yo, you smashed it. Like 6 days you were rocking. You took one day off, you chill with the family, whatever. Or, yo, 4 days you did nothing. You were fucking watching Netflix. Like, and it holds you accountable to yourself because you're like, yo, damn, all these hours I was fucking watching Netflix, I could have been knocking out a beat or fucking writing some shit or networking, connecting, or heading out to see some shit that's a performance happening now that I should be there just to show face. You know what I'm saying? So things like that as you coming up. Um, and you mentioned earlier, you're doing everything yourself, right? And you're promoting yourself. Like, are you starting to find certain people you're trying to grab into your circle to say, hey, I need you as this, I need you as this, so you can focus more on the artistry, but not lose sense of yourself or what the fuck is going on around you.
yeah, yeah. So we we actually had a big plan, and we had a creative team together. The video editor that did my video, the recipe, uh, he also worked on like Fragile and the Hood Go Crazy video with Tech
Okay.
Nine.
Right.
He's done
Which
most of
I love Tech
TV
Nine. I'm a
stations.
big fan of Tech Nine. I've been for years. He's fucking
Hell yeah,
amazing. Yeah.
good guy, good solid dude, man, super down to earth. Uh, but we had him. Uh, Andrew was a business side of things, and we were making like a full like PR marketing team that did like commercials, videos, and we were on the verge of like locking down some dope shit, and just some of the people fell out, and that kind of wasted a big chunk of the end of my year, and you can kind of take it as a setback and learn from it. You just can't invest a ton of time into people that you're not fully, trusted in, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, it does. And you got to be real careful at this point. You know what I'm saying? Because contracts can get real kind of fishy. You know what I'm saying? With
Right,
those 360 deals and bullshit like that.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Very, very fishy.
So how are you educating yourself on the business side of music? Do you
It's
have
it's
that person in your ear? Are you doing it yourself? Like, do you have
it's
a
it's
lawyer?
it's definitely finding the people. It's definitely finding the people. I don't have an entertainment lawyer yet, but that's definitely something that needs to happen this year. Uh,
Okay.
they also provide a lot of opportunities and stuff. My boy JP that produced the Straight Out the Dirt for E40, and he just moved out to California with them, so now he's producing full time uh, out
Nice.
there with for E40 and shit. So it's the opportunities coming to Kansas City, uh, especially the end of this year. It picked up. We don't have a lot of like the outlets that the most major cities do
Right.
because we're not a major city. So uh, I think like talent and everything and the talent pool that they got brewing right now is bringing a lot of like interest down here. And you're starting to see more of the people you need to see, like the business side of things. And I got a couple people that I trust right now with the PR and the marketing. It's just all about getting everything done, putting in the package I want it in, and then shipping it off. And that's just the hardest part right now. Um, I'm doing a lot of artwork with this project, so a lot of my time's invested in like waiting on someone to finish it,
Right.
and that's hard too, because you got mixes you got to finish, you got artwork you got to look at, and
Yeah.
it's so detailed. And I feel like with music and anything, you really take all your time and you leave a piece of yourself in it. Like with coexisting, I definitely left a piece of myself with that, and it's just it takes so much of you that you just give a little bit of it. You give yourself to it, so you never
Right.
get that back. And so you just gotta worry. To me, I just don't want to. I don't want to put a lot of myself into something that's just gonna sink, if that makes sense.
No, it does. Absolutely, it does. Because a lot of times you don't know what's gonna sink either. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And
Right.
you have to go out there and really put yourself in a position to win. And right now you have to be a jack of all trades because you have to be informative about the business. You have to still be the artist. You still have to take meetings about your venues and if you're gonna go touring, which you said you love so much, which is huge. Especially coming out of the Midwest. I feel like the Midwest is untapped resource. It's like oil that no one fucked with for mad years.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because everyone was always doing the coastal thing. It's either the East Coast or the West Coast, and then the South came out of nowhere for a number of
Right.
years. But then, what the fuck happens to the Midwest? You had your Bunk Dogs, you have your Eminems, your Royster 5 9s coming out of Detroit, whatever. But there's other places out in the Midwest that you can really fuck with, you know.
There's not
And
a ton of talent that's came out, like Rich the Factor, Tech Nine. You know what I'm saying? You got
yeah,
like them cats, but it's not like when's the next superstar coming out of Kansas City? When's the next? And it's always you never know when it happens until it does. You know what I'm saying? It's
absolutely,
always,
no,
but
absolutely.
it
And I
takes a
think
team.
no, it does. It takes a team, and it sounds like you really have your head straight. And that's where I think you're gonna wind up separating yourself from the rest of the folks because you not only have the talent, but you have smarts.
Yeah,
And when you mix the two, that's a real good, dangerous fucking combination to have. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
And if you just play it straight, play it right, and stay true to your heart of music, because once you get the corporate executives in, they're gonna want to try to put their own kind of secret sauce in it, and usually they always fuck it up. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to definitely stay true to who you are and make the music that you love, because that's the whole point of you being who you are. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right, right.
So as 2019 begins, you say you're gonna start going touring. Like what is your, I guess, your idea of how big of a tour? And then honestly, is that gonna fuck with work? Like, you're gonna take some time off to go on tour, or are you gonna leave the job behind? Like, how is that gonna work?
It's got to make sense. Right now, I did a couple shows with So Far Sounds. Hold on, my phone's acting crazy. I did a couple shows with So Far Sounds, so I'm reaching out through them to book because they're nationwide. They're big in Australia. They're huge over there, and so they have a contact list to go anywhere. And like right now, we're talking about hitting the West Coast in January, uh,
Okay.
and I just got to schedule it to make sure it meets. I got the weekends off, so I can always play a show on the weekend. So if I go out there and hit 2 or 3 stops, and I got 2 weeks vacation, so I'm gonna make it work until it doesn't make it, until it doesn't work. And to me, if
Absolutely.
I go out to LA and perform a couple shows, I'll get a couple more shows and a couple more opportunities. And like to me, I'm not really doing the shows to get more shows. You kind of do the shows to get anything. You know what I'm saying? When they
Who inspired you? Who's your favorite artist?
Nas,
Nice.
definitely Nas, definitely Nas. Uh, between Nas, I say, oh man, I just had a whole bunch of people in my head I was gonna name off too because this is a question I always get. I'm a big fan of Ludacris.
Okay.
Like throwing it back even more, like Big Daddy Kane,
Oh wow.
uh, Craig G,
Yeah.
uh, like Run DMC, like that type of shit to me was dope. I'm a big East Coast hip hop fan, so that's kind of like where the East Coast influence comes from. And
That's fantastic though, man. Like, cause you got to pay homage. You know what I'm saying? Like, hip hop
right,
is hip hop. You got to pay homage to the legends. Nas is fucking huge. He's one of my favorites as well. Yeah, I grew up a block away from Jay-Z. I grew up in Tompkins Projects. Marcy Projects was a block away.
oh no
And
shit,
yeah, so I grew up in Bed-Stuy, around Biggie, Fab, so it's like, I seen all those cats moving around. You know what I'm saying? You heard the buzz, when the golden era hip hop was happening, Brooklyn was just freaking like on fire. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Um, and when Wu Tang came out of Staten Island, that was like blew everybody in mind because Staten Island's like literally an island of its own. Like you don't go to Staten Island for shit. Like you know what I'm saying? They call it the
yeah,
Forgotten Borough. Um, and back then it was tough to come out, and now it's so easy for cats to do stuff at home on their fucking phone, bro. You know what I'm saying? You can fucking make a quick EP on your iPhone.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So you
They got
know
studio apps and everything now. It's
yeah,
ridiculous.
it's
Yeah,
ridiculous. You don't need to spend money. Of course, the studio is where it's at still because you want the professional sound, you want the best mics, whatever. You want a good
right.
engineer mastering your shit. Um, but on the low, like if you're just trying to push in a SoundCloud right now, just get a buzz, you're good just by having the technology that's out now. Um, do you feel at any given moment that that's kind of like the cost effectiveness? But I don't think people understand how much a studio time costs besides doing it on their own on that transition. Are people really ready, or did you find yourself struggling? Were you ready for that move?
To me, I just jumped into it because it's really easy to try to make like low quality music. You know what I'm saying? Do all that,
Right.
but to do the sacrifice and to do the networking and the and everything like that. That's that's like the jump. That's if you're serious about it. So when you start investing money into yourself and start putting money into like the quality of it, and like you can expect somebody to buy your music if you don't want to put the money into it to make it. So that's kind of how I thought about it. Like I'm not gonna give nobody nothing that I wouldn't put my money into. And I'm not gonna release it if it's not like top of the line. So I found myself being super picky with studios and microphones and everything. Um, because my first album I did at home, second album I did in the studio, third album it's been all in studios with the best microphones. So like all like the Newman, U80 or the U78, whatever it is.
Right.
And that's just what I'm accustomed to now. So I can't go backwards. I guess it'd be nice to do like a mixtape and stuff, but I definitely wouldn't give that advice to anybody starting up. Would be like if you're gonna do a mixtape, don't do it on your phone. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
go against the trend of doing stuff easy and do it the way it's been done because that's proven value.
Yeah, because quality is everything.
Exactly.
You can be good and maybe you get lucky, but at the end of the day, if you sound like you came out of the fucking studio, you're gonna probably getting more attention because you sound more polished.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And hip hop is tough because a lot of people's first albums are amazing, and then their second albums are trash, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
because they go
It's the
from,
sophomore curse.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because they go from, yo, I'm going through the struggle, and then, wow, now I got a little bit of bread right now. I got some cash on me now. Things have changed, and you kind of lose yourself. And then maybe the third, fourth album, you come back a little hard. Like,
Right.
have you been finding yourself like losing your edge? Have you found yourself gaining more of an edge? Like, how has the process been working for you to keep true to Sheven? Like, how can you say that, yo, the people I have around me, what I'm doing now, are they really keeping me stable in the lane that I want to be in emotionally? Because you're an artist, you have to be emotional.
But I feel like and you gotta grow. So like I don't want to be like my last album at all.
All
I
right.
want to grow and evolve, like similar aspects of it. I feel like coexisting is so diverse. That's kind of why I blended with the name. It's such a diverse sounding project that it blends together, but it's a kind of a couple different styles mixed in there. And with the next one, I just want to grow. I want to get better at what I'm doing, but I want to add more to my arsenal. Uh, and I still feel sharp. I don't feel like I've lost my edge. Everything I feel like I'm doing right now is still, my favorite stuff. And then when I look back at, I feel like the real test is like getting done with your new stuff and looking back at your old stuff, and that's kind of how you see where you came and just how you
Absolutely.
feel about it. But when you make a good project, you make a good project. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like coexisting was that. I'm not sure if it got slept on or it was ahead of its time, but like this year it got more plays than it did last year, and I dropped it July 2017. And so like I think goes at like 6,000 plays or something like that.
Right.
And uh, and so that's just like sometimes things they take a little bit of time to catch
Absolutely.
on.
Absolutely. Like, I know you said you have some features in the next coming album, and hip hop has always been collabo heavy to me. Like, there's
Yeah,
been some albums where you'll maybe get two songs where the artist is through and through, you know what I'm saying, just the whole song. And then when they go on tour, they can only do um maybe a verse or two of the actual song. So with that type of structure, do you feel like, are you going to be like a feature heavy person? Are you trying to have like this kind of balance of with features?
yeah. I don't want to be accessible if that makes sense,
Yeah,
but I want to be. But like right now, I want to be everywhere. I'm real picky on what I'll be on and then who I want on. I don't have too many local cats like a real artist like rappers that I'm even friends with and stuff. We're not making a ton of songs together because you know what I'm saying. Just because we both make music and it's dope, it doesn't mean I feel like they're gonna do what I want them to do on my like a J. Cole effect kind of. I have it in my head how I want it, so much that like it's such a like leap for me to let somebody on a track.
no, absolutely. Because one, you got to be creative. And a lot of people now, you're just emailing beats to each other across the country, and you're not really getting a true vibe of a person in studio.
Right, right. And I feel like that's a necessity. I don't want someone to give me, an hour of their time they didn't have throughout the week because they feel like they're rushed. Like I want to be in the studio. I want them to like feel that shit. So that the first questions when somebody asks if I do a song for them, I tell them how much I want, but I tell them I'm not even gonna do it unless I like it. And I gotta feel it because if I can't feel it and add something to it, like I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste your time. And I don't want to do it no injustice. Like this is your vision. This is what you want to do. If I can compliment it, like I did a feature for my homie Mickey P. Uh, for nothing. I did the chorus. Like I was like, dude, I'm feeling the chorus on that, bro. Let me do the chorus on it. I just knocked it out one day after work sent it over. I'm like, don't even worry about it. Like I just fuck with the song. The song was the shit.
Yo, and by giving of yourself like that, a lot more shit's gonna return back to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's where you guys should be. Like, you don't lose who you are, because pretty soon you're gonna wind up being on title talking to Fat Joe and his podcast and shit, and you can say, well, I was in Johnny Nomad first. You know what I'm
Right. Right.
saying?
Yeah.
You
Hell
know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Because
Yeah.
my goal is to really, keep on talking to you, like, throughout the years of you doing this, and like, yo, like, where you at, where we going, where we headed, and this is where you went, where you were starting at. This is where you got to now. You on top of the hill, and I'm in love with your music. I have to say,
Appreciate that, bro. I
like,
appreciate that.
that's no bullshit because if even if you was on my podcast and I didn't like it, I would say your music is not for me, but I do for your vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because
Right.
I have people like that that's on my podcast, and I mean, I fuck with them 100%, but I see why people do fuck with them. I can respect that, and I gotta say
Right.
that with your music, I'm a true fucking fan of it. Like, I've been listening to the past 2 fucking weeks, just trying to break it down, and I'm like, yo, like you're truly saying some shit. And I put you onto my sons, my um. I have 9 fucking kids, so I put you onto
Hell yeah.
my. So yeah, bro. So I put you onto my sons, and my son was like, "Oh shit, I'm feeling that." And he makes beats, and he's been posting shit on SoundCloud. His name is The Richest, and he's going to college now at Georgia State, and he's doing his thing, trying to figure out his vibe. He's going through, and I love the process of someone building. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And you're
That's the
there.
beauty of the beauty's in the madness.
Yeah,
Kind of the
man.
stuff. Everything else is just kind of like the picture that you portray and everything. But that's what, like, the first album's always the best, so that because you get like the true heart in it, you get the true emotion, and like you actually relate to what they're saying because it's so personal, because that they're giving it everything they got. And I feel like as long as, like, there's certain artists that can keep that about them. You know what I'm saying? Where
Right.
consistently they drop albums that you feel like was, their best work. And that's what I want to. I just want to be consistent. I don't want to ever rush anything. I don't want to be out there like Future drop projects back to back to back, and like I'm not a big Future fan. You know what I'm saying? But he was just dropping music to be out there and to have streams and stuff. And it's like I don't ever want to be that artist.
No, you don't want to become too saturated. You don't want people to get tired of you. Like,
Right.
a lot of people talk shit about Jay-Z, whether they hate him or they like him a lot. There's no really no in between people. And he puts out his albums like an old school kind of artist, whether it's hip hop or just rock or whatever. He puts an album out every 2 to 3 years. You know what I'm saying? And nowadays it's kind of a fast food type of mentality of I gotta put some shit out every year or every 6 months. And he took control of his shit. Like, nah, I'm gonna put out an album when I'm fucking ready, when I feel like I have something to say, and that's 2 or 3 years from now. Then that's what it is, and it comes out to be badass. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I feel when people do that, when they forced it, like, I think they have the machine behind them telling them, "Yo, put some more shit out, put some, whether it's whack or whatever." Something's gonna hit. You're just trying to throw a bunch of darts at the fucking dartboard, hoping something sticks,
Yeah.
and that's not
You're right.
that's not the
Line.
math you want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And when you take that time on a project, you don't just get like one season. You know what I'm saying? Like when you take a couple of years to do a project, you're getting a couple influences. Now you got 2 years of influence in that album instead of just a couple months, or like whatever influenced you to make that song. Like the the like widens of like how much it's going to be like diversified. To me, the longer it takes to make an album, the better it is, because it just has more to it. There's more layers to it, if that makes sense. And like the more time you spend on it, the more knowledge is put into it. You know what I'm saying? Because really, like, making music is like saving a piece of time. And like the longer you take to save these pieces of time, the more like detail oriented they are and deeper they are. And so it's just more special. It's like when you age wine. You know what I'm saying? I
No,
feel like
no doubt.
you can
100.
definitely outdate production, which I think some people do with the same. I think Mariah Carey dropped the song, it sounded like it was from early 2000.
Yeah, because that's what they know. They haven't evolved. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that could be the detriment to a lot of artists as well, is where they don't evolve. They
Same
haven't
thing.
changed up. And at the end of the day, too, like, if you're an older artist and some new cats coming out, they got the buzz, you need to put them on.
Right.
I don't see nothing wrong with that. Like, if you know what, you're gonna tap into that younger audience that may not know you because maybe their dad or grandfather knows you. Tap into that dude or that chick and say, yo, like, I want to feature with you. Like, you got to play it smart too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to
Look
really
at
understand how music works.
look at Drake, man. he's the best at jumping on these new waves
Yeah,
and kind of taking them over and doing his own thing. So it's like
I have a love-hate relationship with Drake.
me too,
Like,
me
you know what I'm saying?
too.
Like, yeah, like his first album, I love this first album. Second album, blah, whatever. He had this one. I forgot the other one. I don't remember most of them, but there's songs that I love, and it's like, yo, why you did that one? I hate that one. And my son's be like, yo, I love this song. And I'm like, what?
Right,
This shit
right.
is whack. But
Or like it'll come out and you'll just hear it like 10 times, and then you find yourself like listening to it, and you're like, but I fucking hated this song when it came out.
exactly,
It's that
exactly.
FM radio like fucking zombie effect where you get it put in front of
Yes.
your face for so long that your brain has to hear it.
No, fuck yeah, dude. So what, like, do you ever find just because I'm gonna tell you about me, like, I really work hard on what I'm doing. I'm also a producer, editor for my wife's YouTube channel, whatever, and I'm constantly reading books or whatever, doing whatever. And I find myself sometimes gotta step away. I have to watch something fucking dumb as fuck. You know what I'm saying? And I go to YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube, and I start watching like 25 best road rage crashes or whatever. Like, do you ever find
Yeah.
yourself to remove yourself? What do you do to remove yourself just to clear your mind?
Yeah, that's the best to me is to get away and definitely watch like anything that grabs your emotion, like comedy. I love comedy.
So do I.
Going to a comedy show, getting out, going to a concert where I find a lot of inspiration. Like it's kind of like an inspiration reset. And like getting away from electronics and your phone.
Yeah,
Stop feeling you have it. Yeah, like I think the best I can do for myself, like artistically, is go to Colorado for a week and come back.
yeah.
Like like
Just
being
totally
up in
remove
the
it.
mountains.
Be totally dis fucking connected. Like, be off the fucking grid and just fucking enjoy your own space.
Yeah, I did that like 6 months ago, and I feel like I'm due for it again. Like it's just a thing I got to do. You
Where
just
did
go
you
out there.
go? How did that happen? Tell me that story. Like, what happened 6 months ago that you had to get away?
Man, uh, just so it's a lot of like I told you like the new project's restitution, and a lot of it's like I put a lot into some relationships that didn't work out. A lot of years lost and a lot of pain and like dealing with it was just it was hard. Like anytime you deal with change and stuff and like having a lot of like feelings invested into somebody and they let you down.
All right.
So I capitalized on all that. Uh, I think some people will hate me when this music comes out.
That's what's
but
up.
but yeah, but it's just love. You know what I'm saying? It's not directed towards nobody personally, but it's it's definitely salty, bitter, love, sweet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's got it's a mix of emotions that yeah, I can't really explain by just telling you. Like you just have to listen to it. It's got a lot of everything in it, but it's how I healed, how I grew as a person. And then I took a trip to Pueblo. I got a buddy from the Caribbeans. He lives over here. He moved to Pueblo, Colorado, out in the middle of nowhere. And then he hit me up. He's like, "Bro, come out, stay a week." And so I went out there and got got fucked up, man. He got a lot of plants growing and shit. He had a couple
Right.
different kinds.
Oh, that's
We
right. It's
was
Colorado. That shit is fucking legal out there, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We had a good old time, man. And then when I got back, I was just ready to work.
That's fantastic, man. Yeah, you have to remove yourself. I think, people who have regular 9 to 5s usually don't take their time off to reset. You know what I'm saying? And even with you trying to be an artist, or you are an artist, my bad. You know what I'm saying? Being an artist and then having a 9 to 5, grabbing that week for yourself, that says a lot about you and about your discipline as well to yourself. That
Yeah,
that's self care right there. You know what I'm saying? And without self care, you can't go forward without that. Yeah, you have to be you. You know what I'm saying? I fucking love that shit, bro. I gotta do that for myself. I gotta
yeah,
totally do that shit for myself, man. Um, so I really can't wait for the new songs to hit. You know what I'm saying? I really can't wait for new albums to drop. Like, so do you have a timeline of when the album is gonna drop, or the first single, or what you got? What's your goal, and for at least a single, if not the album?
so I plan on dropping like February, end of February, March. You should be getting the first taste. And if I don't, something's been telling me to drop something. You know what I'm saying? Like not on the project, just to like to get into my rap shit and just
Just a
to
teaser.
get something for the fans. Right. And
Yeah.
so I might drop something, you know what I'm saying, for the fans before then. But right now it's all looking like you'll get the first single late February, March, and then it'll be a go. I should be in front of your face for the rest of the year, hopefully.
That's what's up, man. That's what's fucking us up, and I hope so, man. Cause like I said, you have a lot. You have some good ass lyrics, bro. Like your flow is sick. Your content, you know what I'm saying, what you speak about is on point, and you sound authentic. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate
You,
that.
you
Yeah,
truly
I
sound
appreciate
fucking authentic. You don't sound like nobody else out there. You know what I'm saying? So you have your unique sound, which is amazing. Like I said, to me, you sound like an East Coast cat, but because of your influences you talked about, it does make sense. You know, you're gonna kind of emulate what you hear. You know what I'm saying? Um,
right.
shit, I always thought Bones Thugs was from the West Coast. The way they rap, but they were from Ohio the whole damn time. You know what I'm saying?
Damn. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
um, but it's shit like that. I think people have an interest in shit like that. Like I said, and the biggest thing you have going for yourself, bro, is your determination, your self awareness about what you need, what you don't need. And like you said, you had to cut some people off this past year. That shit
Right.
fucking happens, man. That's part of life.
It
You
hurts.
know,
It's
it
it
does, man.
sucks,
It's
but
painful,
I grew from it. I definitely grew from it.
and it's a necessary change. You know, and the people you have in your life currently right now may only serve you the next 6 months, and that's fine. That's what they were there for. You know what I'm saying? And that's what people have to understand. As you move forward, not everyone's going to be along for the ride 100% of the time. You know, you're going to drop some people off, you're going to pick somebody up. Somebody's like a fucking bus. You know what I'm saying? No one rides the bus from the first stop to the end stop, the last stop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Um,
you with the same when you start the bus was when when you get off, and that's what I had to tell myself.
yeah,
Like people on the bus are gonna change, and as long as I
absolutely,
keep the same driver, and you know what I'm saying, I know where I'm headed, and the destination doesn't get fucked up, then it should be right where I want it to be.
absolutely, bro. Absolutely. So true, man. Yo, you've been amazing. I don't want to hold you up any more of your time. You've been your music is fantastic, and people, if you haven't heard Sheven yet, he's on all the platforms, so you can listen to him on Spotify, iTunes. I personally listen to him on Spotify. It's fucking amazing. Both his albums are out there right now on Spotify. Which is Sheven. Say both of your albums again, man.
Oh shit. So the first one's expungement,
Yep.
second was coexisting,
And
and
the coexist. I like the song "Go." I put that on my IG already. I love it. I'm constantly using it. That's kind of my favorite workout song right now. I don't think you wanted your songs to be a workout song, but that's what I fucking been doing. I've been working out to damn music.
my,
Um,
my guy Gorilla uh what's his what's his IG? He big dude, bro. Always weightlifting. Uh he has a clothing line. I'm blacking out on it. It's a gorilla or something, but he always posts working out to the recipe. And I'm like,
oh
that's
man.
so if you need another workout song, and if you haven't seen the video, we
Oh
knock
yeah.
out Donald Trump. So yeah, so it's a controversial video. It's at like 23,000 views, I think now on
That's
YouTube.
awesome.
And that's done by Mike Beek, who did the Fragile and He'll Go Crazy for Tech. So it's crazy video, bro. If you got epilepsy, like stay away from it. It's a fucking it's a motherfucker of a video. But it's how we came out the gate. And I wanna keep coming at you guys crazy. You know what I'm saying? And
No, definitely, bro. And I'm definitely gonna stay connected with you. I'm gonna be checking up on you, bro. Like I said, I'm a super fan. Um, just just want to stay connected and I can't wait to listen to your next joint drop and you sound like I said, people you got to listen to him. Like it's no bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna bullshit anybody. If I didn't like him, would he still be on the podcast? Probably because he had a following. You know what I'm saying? But I want to be promoting it right now. You know what I'm saying? Like the guy's the fucking truth. You know what I'm saying? He's fucking honest. He's giving you his heart right now. He's telling you straight out, like, yo, he's in the mix of making it. You know what I'm saying? He has a fucking day job. He's fucking, working on his craft. He got connects. He's doing his own shit, promoting his own shit. But he's fucking determined as a motherfucker. And that's what it takes to fucking make it, folks. There is no true secret sauce. If you just work at your shit mad hard every fucking day, then you can also be Sheven. Is that right?
Hell yeah, bro. And it's cool to hear you say that because I don't look at myself as someone to be like I never really have. But I would love to be a role model, a positive role model. So
My man, you already are, brother. You already are. You already showing grown men, not just little kids, man, but grown men that yo, it's possible. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has a day job. More people than not have a regular fucking day job and a regular life routine. And you're showing cats like, yo, I have that. I don't want that. So I'm going after this. With every single minute I have extra time outside of that fucking punching the clock bullshit, I'm going
yeah.
after this. And
Well,
that's the focus a lot of people don't have.
if I can say one thing to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
is if you have a dream or something that you want to do, don't let anybody tell you that it's wrong to not want to work every day of your life for a company or what everybody usually does because that's just what people are used to and that's comfort and people are stuck being comfortable and change comes from not being comfortable and that's why we can't change as a society. And so we need
Absolutely.
to start stepping out of our comfort zone and doing what we really believe in. And I think that's when a lot of shit will happen with like racial shit and a lot of that shit. But until then, we stay in this comfort zone and we all talk about it from social media like it changes something, but it doesn't.
Yeah. A lot of people talk shit though. A lot of people just talk and talk. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? There's very few people that's gonna walk that shit. So, you know, I'm gonna start riding a fucking unicycle because I want to be fucking uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to, like you have to put yourself out there, whether you fail or not. It is what it is. And my biggest thing I always tell my kids, like, yo, continue to fail. Your big success is gonna be by you how many times you fail. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna learn so much more from your failures. Cause that's the recipe for success. You have to fail first. You know what I'm saying? Like how
Right.
many times we busted our ass before we started walking? We were
That's why
crawling.
that's why I try to tell people that are like, man, you know what I'm saying? I just want to do this. I'm like, man, don't rush the story, bro. This is your story. So that's why I'm not rushing mine because I want it to be portrayed exactly how I want it. You know what I'm saying? It's my story, and I don't feel like it should be rushed. Like nothing good comes from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
no, you're right. You have to enjoy the process. And that's what people have to understand. Like, if you put a goal out there, right? Your goal is to drop your next album, right?
yeah,
And you've already dropped two albums. And once the album's done, guess what? It's over.
right,
You've already dropped it.
right,
Now you're just waiting for. You still have some promotion to do. Don't get me wrong, but it's over. The
yeah,
biggest part that emotionally drained you was the progression to complete the album, the process of the album, the heartache, the
right,
pain, the writing, the figuring things out, the song structure, how this should go, the creative process. And that's what people have to understand. Love the process, not just the end game. Because people who climb, at Mount Everest, they always talk about the story of how they sleep in a fucking tent. They take a bus 3 days to get to Mount Everest. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the story. And people are fucking so impatient nowadays. That's the biggest fucking problem.
right.
That's the biggest problem. So Sheven tells you himself, be fucking patient.
Be patient, man. And I suck at that. I'm the most impatient. I have anger issues. I've gotten in trouble because of this shit. And I'll tell you the biggest lesson in life that I've learned is to be patient because the things that come by that, and you get farther with sugar than you do salt.
Yeah.
And I know that shit firsthand. Like I've bitten every hand that reached out tried to help me growing up because I was stubborn and I didn't want to listen to nobody and I acted like nobody could tell me shit
Right.
and yeah, and I wish I could redo it 100 times. You know what I'm saying? Because I just with being positive and showing love to everybody has gotten me more places than anything has ever done, and that's the truth.
Yo, you gave me love, man. I appreciate it. You came on
Hell yeah,
Johnny to my podcast. You didn't have to do that shit, so I appreciate it 1,000% on the real,
back at
bro.
you, back at you. This is like my second or third podcast ever. So fucking yeah, thanks for having me, bro.
No, thank you, man. This has been fantastic. I said, I'm a huge fan. I'm gonna continue following you. Um, the artist, the soon-to-be legend, the guy from the Midwest. His name is Sheven. Listen to him on